What's up, friends? This is Carissa, and I'm the blogger behind The Missing Link. I'm a dating, relationship, and marriage coach, and I'm bringing you my top 5 success tips for online dating today in 2022. Now, this is just a snippet of my more extensive post that has probably over 50 hot tidbits on online dating. So if you haven't read it, I highly encourage you to do so, and I will link that below. Starting with number 1. Don't give out any personal information you wouldn't tell a stranger. Because essentially, whoever you're talking to online is a stranger. So what do I mean by personal information? This could be your place of work, your residence, obviously things like your bank account information, your credit card number, your last name even, or maybe even your phone number. Unfortunately, we give that away far too easily today. And the perk with online dating from the beginning was to avoid having to give away certain personal information that, say, you would give to someone that you met face to face, because how else would you get in contact with that person again, right? So you would exchange numbers, obviously. Well, with online dating, you don't necessarily have to do that right out the gate. And it allows us to take a little bit more precaution with what sensitive information we give to someone we hardly know. Number 2. I say this gently, I say this kindly, lovingly, but please, please, please avoid doctoring your photos. Unfortunately, with technology and social media, there's filters, there's all these editing features. It's really easy to succumb to what technology wants us to look like. Hell, technology blatantly wants us to look and seem less human. So avoid the filters, avoid all the pretty backgrounds and editing features, and be your authentic self. Because the person that you meet face to face is going to see a human being. They're not going to see a filtered photograph or the person in the filtered photograph. So yeah, I am saying show your stretch marks, show your wrinkles. Be real about the fact that your hair isn't perfectly colored every 8 weeks. Avoid skewing your photos to portray a different person online than what someone will see in real life. This also goes for your profile too. Avoid doctoring your bio, interests, hobbies, anything that requires you to talk about yourself, right? So I think we doctor aspects about ourselves on the reg. So in your profile, or in your interests section, you put that you like hiking. And maybe you genuinely do, okay? But if the last time you actually went hiking was 4 years ago on a girls' trip to the mountains, and you put in your interests that you like hiking, it's not necessarily the full truth. So that's just something to be careful about when you doctor certain things about yourself to be portrayed as someone you're not. Because honestly, if you say that you like going out on the weekends, but most weekends you're cuddled up in your PJs by 7 p.m., binging a show on Netflix, it's not that honest either. So that's just something to consider. Thirdly, take note of subtle signs of disinterest. At any point when there are signs of disinterest, that is simply what it is. Nothing more. Because when you're online dating and you're getting to know someone, you're not committing, nor has that person committed to you. It's also important to take note of signs of love bombing, which would be the opposite of disinterest. Love bombing is the overwhelming amount of affection and attention prematurely. So texting, for instance, let's use that as an example because most people online dating spend a lot of time texting, especially in the beginning. As far as disinterest, if someone is taking too long to respond, or their responses aren't very thoughtful, I'm going to use that word, and you can define that as you see fit, thoughtful. It's up to you to take note of any inconsistencies, patterns, habits that strike you as being outside your standard. So if they're not responding back after 24 hours, it's safe to say this person is not as interested as you. Now, what you do with that information is up to you. On the flip side, if someone is responding to your texts almost too immediately and too incessantly, this can be considered love bombing. So it should bring question to your mind as to what this person is doing with their time, how much time this person has on their hands, and is this the way they behave when they're getting to know somebody? Oftentimes, this can give you a feeling of overwhelm, smothered, almost like this person may tell you they love you tomorrow. See, the thing is, there needs to be a balance. Connection should never be rushed. It should never be pushed. And it should never seem ingenuine. It needs to be natural. And when taken seriously, there's going to be that balance of effort, attention, and affection back and forth. It'll be mutual. It'll be natural. And you need to look for that, as well as looking for the signs on both extremes. Number 4, don't minimize your standards. Okay, your standards are the requirements for how someone treats you as a human being, as a person. Okay? Now, your standards are not the same as your expectations. Your expectations are a little more surface level. They can even be superficial. And it's important to be open to adjusting and revising your expectations, especially when it comes to unmet expectations. And lastly, number 5, remember, dating is a game. This is not to be confused with mind games, okay? Because you don't play a board game with the intent to cheat or trick the other player into losing. And I know for many, it's that dating should never be considered a game. There should be no games in dating. The thing is, life's a game. You're just learning how to play it. So the same applies to dating. It's a learning experience. Dating does require strategy. It requires self-reflection. It requires awareness. It requires accountability and self-responsibility. So we have to be willing to keep that in mind. If you would like to read this post more in depth, I will leave the link to it in the description below. And if this video resonated with you, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel so you can stay up to date with the latest videos. Thanks, guys.